how you run the military is a subject of politics in the United States, because one of its most important policies is about military, is about security. So the security of this country is everybody's interest. And how we manage our troops, where you are commander-in-chief today or not commander-in-chief forever. So we need to ensure that when we make decisions, they are tempered with some bit of, rationale, that we all accept the wisdom. This power, this discretion of commander-in-chief is not exercised in absolute nature without the necessary, audit by Parliament. But Parliament has audited, and therefore, if Uhuru Kenyatta is the commander-in-chief of the Kenyan troops here, and he has every discretion to make the decision that he feels so right, Ban Ki-moon is also metaphorically the commander-in-chief of every UN operation and has every discretion also to make whatever decision he feels right. And therefore, and it was not a decision made in haste. It was a decision that there was some inquiry. What Kenyans are saying is that the general was not asked questions with respect to the inquiry. So, and there are a lot of other reports lately by the UN that are pointing fingers on Kenya. Our mission in Somalia, sale of charcoal, the violations of civilians, they are there. So we need to start biting the bullet to sustain the integrity of our military.
True, but Senator, using your same narrative, then Kenyans are left with just what I'd call the political rhetoric between the deputy president right now and the opposition leader, whereas there must have been advisors to the president who, before he makes that withdrawal, I'm sure he didn't just wake up one day and call the troops. There must have been some security advisors.
You see, whether you are advised or not advised, ultimately that decision is your decision. I am advised also as Senator of Mombasa County. I have friends, I have allies, I have experts, I have constituents, I have everybody. Yeah. Ultimately, that decision is your decision. Whether you are advised by 1 million people, whether you are advised by one person, that decision is ultimately your decision. So if with this thing about saying how the president was misadvised, you must be in a position to critique. You are the president, you are advised, but you make the final decision. In every function that you're given, you advise the chairman of Sony Sugar, but he makes the ultimate decision. You advise the member of parliament of the National Assembly, he makes the ultimate decision. So that decision, whether he was advised wrongly or rightly by Monica or by anybody else, is his decision. So secondly, as I said, if the issue was the process issue, we could have lodged a very firm protest about the process issue. For you to start withdrawing day 2 or day 3, these people will also show that they got grit. So this is a standoff which we created deliberately, and these guys have decided they do not want any standoff. Thank you for all the work you have done. They have already nice knowing you. They have appointed another. I can tell you, they have appointed another brigade to take over this position. My friend works with DPKO, Department of Peacekeeping Operations, and the last he told me is that you can take this to the bank that we have already appointed another troop, another battalion from one of the Far Eastern countries, because these are sensitive military delicacies. Before you even created that transition, if you really wanted to pull out, you should have allowed some kind of transition. So you got to create a vacuum, because these are positions that are appointed to you. So who did you expect to be there when the Kenyan troops were away? So they immediately also acted in the best interest of the peacekeeping operations in South Sudan. Unanimous.
All right, Jakagu, you wanted to comment on that?
From the readings that we are reading, there was a double command. That it's not indeed a minor who was making sole decisions. Yeah. That is what I'm reading from the press, not that I'm privy to the advice the president was given. So when it comes to that, and there is a breakdown in communication, then I believe our man in Southern Sudan did the best that he could under the circumstances. Now he's being now told the blame is squarely on you, while the UN knows that there was a breakdown of communications between its agencies on the ground. So we cannot just blame the Kenyan troops or the man who was commanding the troops in Southern Sudan.